Hi, this is George. Today I want to go a little bit into the topic of quality assurance and in particularly talk about browser automation. What is it, why it's needed, the Java tools commonly used in the industry, and also I will go a little bit in depth into some code example that I just wrote before this screencast to just explain its main parts and structure and how it is written using these Java technologies. So first of all, what is browser automation? Browser automation is software that uses the browser to test or let's say interact with an application as if it was an end user. The main motivation behind the browser automation in companies is to reduce the time it takes to regression test key features of the applications via the browser. This kind of testing through the user interface gives great feedback and confidence in a visual way of the functionality, since often they are run in a complete integration. By this I mean it uses maybe some sort of test database, some sort of external system, etc. But this kind of tests also have big drawbacks. They can be very heavy, and regardless that they are probably interacting with the browser faster than a human would do, they are still slow from the programmatical point of view. And this is why we say that these tests should belong in the top of the testing pyramid. If you got your testing pyramid right, this kind of automation test should perhaps represent not more than 1% of your overall test coverage. Also, these tests are very tight coupled to the web design, so it makes them fragile. And because of these two things, of the slowness and its fragility, we often tend to create an external project or test harness, which is correct to do this kind of UI testing, but then this introduces a maintenance overhead. So now let's talk a little bit about the minimum requirements to do this kind of test. The first thing we will need is a browser automation tool or framework. This is a tool that allows you to navigate or gather content from pages. Selenium is the one that we will be talking about, but there are others such as Jount, JAunt or JSoup. The other things that we will need is a BDD framework. And the reason why a BDD framework and not an ordinary unit testing library like JUnit is because these tests need to be as closest as possible to the human language. They might be presented not just to developers but also to other non-technical persons in the team or the company in the form of a report. Cucumber is the BDD framework I will talk about today, but there are others such as JBehave, JudgeSpec or Spock. So without any more hesitation, let's have a look into the code. So here I created a project. It's a Maven project and I want to show first its dependencies. When we write a browser automation test, as I just said, there are two things that we need. One, the browser automation tool, which is Selenium, and these are the libraries we will need from Selenium, the Selenium Java API, and we will need these things called the drivers, because I'm going to use Chrome. I have the Chrome driver, but you can also add your Firefox driver. The other thing that we will need is the BDD framework. Cucumber is the BDD framework that we will use. Cucumber was created by Robin C. Martin, or commonly known as Uncle Bob. It's a very common tool. It's been there for a long time, but it still remains very important in the industry. And this is how you add it with a Maven dependency. You just had your Cucumber Java, and then there's the Cucumber JUnit integration. So this in what regards to the dependencies. Apart of this, Selenium and Cucumber, everything else that you want to add is up to you. I like adding UniRest, which is a framework that allows me to easily send HTTP requests. Now let's look into the structure of the project itself. Since we are going to, since this is a test harness, our main Java part of the project, as you can see, it's empty. Everything we have is going to be in here, in the test. The important thing to mention before going into the code is that we will have another requirement, and this is the driver itself, the driver that will allow Selenium to actually interact with the browser. So we need to download it from the internet. You can find it easily on Google, and I don't need to show you that. So you will download the Chrome driver or Firefox driver and just place it in your resources directory. And also here in the resources directory, notice that I have a package here called features, and these files don't have a Java extension. They are called with the extension .feature. Here is where the world of acceptance criteria and BDD with Cucumber starts. We want to express with the most human-like language a requirement. This is a very basic test. Basically, you start by calling this a feature. So what is the feature that you are testing? In this case, it's a landing page feature. We are verifying that the landing page renders well and that the links are not broken. A little bit more background on it. This is optional, you could write the background, but it's a good practice. You need to put yourself in the skin of the user using the application, right? So you say that as a user, or as whoever might be using the application, then I want to be able to see the landing page. Okay, so that's an action or that you want to do, and your end goal, so that I can enjoy its content. This is kind of a common way of expressing behavior, a requirement for an acceptance criteria. You need to. It's not mandatory to do this kind of putting yourself in the skin of the persona, but it tends to help for the understanding of the feature that we are developing. But now comes the scenarios, the particular scenarios, which we could say that these are actually the acceptance criteria itself. We say, so let's say we have that page that we want to make render, we want to see it render properly and its links working well. That is a little bit epic. Maybe the page is composed of many little things, and so we want to make sure that each of those parts work. And let's say, for example, we have a scenario for a navigation bar. So given a user navigates to the landing page, when the user uses the navigation bar responds correctly. Here we are using a pattern which is a BDD testing pattern, commonly known as a given, when, then, which actually is an abstraction of a lower level testing pattern which is known as the 3A testing pattern, which stands for arrange, act, and assert. In the given, you will put all those things that you might depend on in order to perform your test, which is the precondition is to be able to navigate to the page, and then the action, which is the usage of the navigation bar, and the assertion, which is, and then the navigation bar responds correctly, whatever responding correctly means. So this is the feature. Now that we understand our requirement, which is written in a human language, we need to see how are we gonna map this to the world of Java. Well, we will be adding in the Java package these things what we call steps. So the steps are basically some sort of mapping that Cucumber using reflection will discover that kind of, let's say, method or handler that will deal with the part of the requirement that we wanted to, that we were expressing earlier. So, for example, this is the reply to that given, then there is the then, the when, and the then. Before going in depth into this, let's make sure we understand how this binding works. It's important because we can configure it in different ways. So I'm going to open this class here that I have, Cucumber Runner, which is something I created. And look, it has a package, a features, which is the direction, the direction to the package where the features that I was explaining just a second ago are located. So here is how Cucumber will find those features. And the glue are the steps. The steps are the package where that mapping that I just showed are found. And finally you have this thing, format. I mean, there are many other options and there are many things that you can do, but commonly these are the three most used. The format is basically a direction, some kind of instruction where to generate a test report. This is a report that will be published. This one will generate a test report in the format of HTML under the target directory once the test run, but you could publish this into Jenkins for this to be visible, or you could do many other things, maybe add into a database, but that's our more advanced features. This is just the most important thing. You make sure that you run with Cucumber, you add this annotation, run with Cucumber, and you add your options. And then you just leave this class empty like this. So back again to our mapping. At this point we could say that the world of Cucumber is over. So now starts the world of Java and also the world of Selenium. Because we want to have a separation of concerns in what regards the expressing our requirement and binding it, this is just glue. We want to separate this from the real actual usage of Selenium. So commonly we follow a design pattern which some people, testers especially, call this the page object design pattern, but this is basically a Java, an object-oriented design pattern known as the value object. So what this says is that we create an object which represents every element that the page has. This way we can maintain easier those elements. In this case, I created a landing page. So I'm going to just split vertically like this so we can see better. So this landing page object contains the behavior that we are interested, that the way Selenium talks to the page, I would say. Before we go into it in depth, let's guide this explanation through the landing page step. when the landing page step is created, the first thing that it does, it needs to find the driver, because the Selenium driver is what is going to allow us to talk, to gather the things from the website. So we make sure that we add a system property, which is the driver itself. And it says here, source test resources Chrome driver. We go here, we can check resources, and we have that Chrome driver that we showed earlier. That is fine. So once Selenium knows where the driver is, it creates that specific driver. This class Chrome driver will allow us to use that driver from the Java code. And later we will use this web driver, we will pass it to the page. We could just create it directly in the landing page from within, etc. But the way you structure your test harness is up to your discretion. I like passing the web driver because the web driver also, apart of being a mechanism of interacting, is a way of having a state, gathering a state in the application. So maybe this might be of interest somewhere else. So I don't want to later create another driver or redo previous steps when I can just resume from where I am by passing a web driver. So this is a reason why I pass it, but you cannot pass it if you don't want. You can. It's up to you. Different people might have different preferences, and depends on the complexity of the project, one architecture or another. This is just an example. So you create the landing page, and now when you are in the landing page, you don't use the web driver here directly, even if you have it declared. You use the web driver from within. You separate the concerns. And what we are saying in here, in the navigation one, for example, we are telling to the web driver to navigate to the URL. So here is our destination. So this, when executed, will do the givens. Given that I navigate to the page, when I get the header elements, so I take these header elements from the web driver. I say find elements by class navigation items. So here is, I'm going to show you how this looks like in the page. Where is the driver taking this from? So I'm going to navigate here just manually to this page. And I'm going to put this here for a second. As you can see, if you inspect this code, there is a class that's called navigation item. So this is why I said earlier that these kind of tests are fragile, because we are basically scrapping from a website. So we put that there, and this will return us all those elements in the navigation. And it returns them as a list of web elements. These web elements, we are storing them here in the header, and later in the then we are going to do an assertion. We're going to check that all the elements are there by just, let's say, checking its size. So that's the navigation bar size, that is correct. It means that they are all rendering. And then we need to make sure that they are not broken. So another thing that I want to do, I'm here iterating each of the elements in that list. And I'm using that framework that I mentioned when we were looking at the POM, which is called UniRest. And I'm sending a header request. So see, I'm not using a get request, because I'm not really interested in the body of what happens when I reach there. All I want is to make sure that it's not broken. So I do a header request, and it returns me a response, and I just check for each of those that the response is, has a status of 200, and that should do the job. Finally, I close the page. I close the browser. I close the browser and I quit the WebDriver. And this is basically how you write a browser automation test. When we get I didn't explain this one. So when we get here from the landing page, when I do the header request, we need the link, and we saw earlier that the page had the class, and each class under there was a link. So I'm going to just open again that just to show you. Let me show that again. So if I inspect this again, there is the anchor, right? So I want to get each of those anchors. So now I search by tag name, and I make sure that tag name has the attribute href. So this is how I find the links, and then I do the header request on the link. So and that's it. Let's run this UI test to show you how it works, how it looks like in reality. You will notice that it's actually a little bit slow. So you just click on the feature you want to run, and here in my second screen it will be opening. When it opens, I'm going to move it here, and we travel there, and we are not doing anything. Basically, we are just verifying that some element is there. And you saw the browser closed when it finished, and the test passed, telling that it ran one scenario with 3 steps, and it took us 10 seconds to run this test. So as you can see, it's very slow, but yeah, so this is what browser automation is. So I hope you found that useful, and thank you very much.